Hey everybody, how's it going? Josh here, and welcome to the hopefully one of many more to come on-camera installments of the HNEpod here on HN Entertainment. So today we're talking about a few things that have been happening. I saw a few comments and tweets. People were messaging, asking us to talk about the Morbius trailer, the Black Widow special look, and then also the news about the director of Doctor Strange 2 leaving the project, which is obviously something that I don't think anyone saw coming whatsoever. Now, besides that, also I want to talk about a MonsterVerse theory today regarding Kong and his size. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, SoundCloud, any of those audio-only versions, or not versions, but platforms, the whole thing is up on there, whole audio track, not split up, anything like that. However, if you're watching this on YouTube, which in that case you must be if you're seeing me on cam, you're going to be checking this podcast out in segments. This is something I want to try out going forward, and hopefully you guys like it. I know the background, all that stuff, lighting isn't perfect at the moment. All this is very much a work in progress, and as time goes on, I get more comfortable on camera. The whole process hopefully gets more fluid. Likely all this stuff will improve as well. That's the goal, at least. Who knows? Maybe my cats will make a cameo as well. I have two beautiful kittens who are just they're chilling right now in the background. You can't see them here, but they're laughing it up. They're kind of annoying me right now too. They just got spayed. But getting back on track here for the podcast episode. Yes, so those are our four topics today. Morbius trailer, Black Widow special look, also talking about the Doctor Strange 2 news, and MonsterVerse. So it's a pretty Marvel-heavy episode. Hopefully DC or, I guess Lucasfilm does something sometime soon. We could talk about something else besides just primarily MCU. But getting on to the first topic here today, we have basically, I don't know how to describe this Morbius trailer besides interesting. I got Mummy vibes from it, I'm not going to lie, and I got Venom vibes from it. Now, it's not a bad thing by any means. It's just the type of vibes I got. But trailers could be deceiving. You could have a situation like Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds back in the day, where the trailer was rather impressive, but the movie fell flat. And then vice versa, you can get situations where the trailer kind of isn't inspiring, like X-Men First Class, but then the movie ends up being really good and well received. So, what's my kitten doing? However, the elephant in the room obviously is the weird crossover elements teased in this trailer. Both we got to see Michael Keaton's Vulture in his prison garb, and then also we saw a Spider-Man poster which had murderer written on it, obviously referencing the belief that Spider-Man killed Mysterio in Far From Home, which is weird because the poster, of course, outside of the fact that it's PS4 Spider-Man in the poster, it's him wearing the Raimi variation of the outfit, not either the Iron Spider suit or the Stark suit shown in Homecoming primarily. So it's a really weird dynamic that I guess they're going for. I kind of got vibes of Marvel TV, where Marvel TV would reference and claim to be in the MCU, but obviously the movies would never deliberately reference any events that happened in either the Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., etc., etc. So that's probably what I would assume is the dynamic going forward, how they're going to acknowledge each other, which is basically Sony movies acknowledging MCU events, but MCU events never really going out of their way to acknowledge the other side of things, which in that case is kind of upsetting because for such a big scale project, if you're going to do a crossover, if you're going to do those kind of elements, which I'm sure were negotiated with Tom Holland Spider-Man coming back to the MCU, just commit. You know what I mean? Don't do this half-baked thing because it's going to be really confusing, I would imagine, for general audiences that don't follow what's going on a regular basis like more of the Marvel fans do, because for a general audience member, now they're going to be thinking Morbius, Venom, things like that are connected to stuff like Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness, stuff like that, which will just further confuse things with the Disney Plus shows also coming out. So I just think it's a little too much not to be all under one cohesive roof, for me at least personally. But to get into some interesting things about the trailer, so first and foremost, I really thought it was cool how they were setting up Michael Morbius professionally. He's really smart. He has his doctorate. He was getting the Nobel Prize. I thought all those things were really interesting to introduce in the trailer and not just smack, us in the face with later. And I hope they really marinate on those things because obviously if they're going from the comics, he has a blood issue, which really affects his health. And, we see him obviously handicapped to a certain extent. He's having trouble walking on his own power, stuff like that. And he's studying ways to treat himself, which I like how they're showing seemingly, just progressively, if you look really closely, you can see how his situation's getting worse. In some scenes, he looks more lively. In other scenes, seemingly pre-supernatural events happening to him, he's looking progressively worse as time goes on with the makeup they put on his face, stuff like that, which I thought was really cool to see that, I guess, slow decline of Michael Morbius's health, which pushes him to such extreme measures, which appear to be when he goes to that temple-looking thing, which really gave me the Mummy vibes, if I'm being honest. And he puts his hand out, he cuts it, and these spiritual, supernatural, I kind of got totem vibes, which actually connects to the Spider-Man comics, so I wonder if they're doing that. But yeah, he does that, and then lo and behold, he becomes a superhero, or I guess an anti-hero of some extent. Now, we see him use super strength, super speed, echolocation. We also see him using some other abilities, like a new type of visual sense, which appears to be different from his echolocation, but visualized in a way kind of reminiscent to X2's Nightcrawler, which I thought was really cool with the kind of smokiness going on. And also his ears, if you look in the trailer, when he's using his echolocation ability, his ears are rather enlarged and a little bit more veiny than they were previously. So I did think the trailer was good, don't get me wrong. I thought this was actually a really strong trailer for the Morbius movie. It definitely generated more interest in me personally than interest I had before. Going forward with Morbius and I guess the Sony universe of Spider-Man characters, Venom, connecting with Morbius, potentially MCU Spider-Man by Tom Holland, into the MCU, I just hope all those things remain separate. I know they introduced Vulture, so in a way, technically, Morbius is in the MCU, but like I said before, it could have a Marvel TV type dynamic, so it's connected, yet never really going to be referenced by the other MCU movies whatsoever, which is interesting in its own right, especially since this movie, unlike Venom, appears to be taking place primarily in the New York City area, which is very populated already with the superhero stuff going on in the MCU. But just getting on past that, moving forward, especially with rumors that J. Jonah Jameson will be appearing in this movie, I do think it would be for the best to, as much as possible, not directly have Morbius in the spotlight, because this will be one of just many characters now, a pattern really developing over time where characters that were famous in the spotlight beforehand are becoming superpowered people. Basically, like Doctor Strange was already really popular beforehand, just like Tony Stark was as well, but he's getting powers. But, obviously Eddie Brock and Venom wasn't super popular. So I'm really hoping they're careful with what they do with Dr. Morbius, because you can't really have a Nobel Prize winning scientist parading around unless maybe they want to connect Morbius more so to the Disney Plus series coming out, since they're already doing Moon Knight, in Disney Plus. And then obviously the Blade movie, I think would be really interesting if they maybe want to connect Mahershala Ali's Blade film and maybe that trilogy as a whole with Morbius. I definitely wouldn't put that past Kevin Feige, considering he's pretty creative, and really there's only so much you could do with Morbius connecting to the greater MCU outside of that. I mean, you can't really do a lot of other characters without really forcing the issue, and obviously having a pseudo-vampire connect to Blade, a vampire hunter, appears to be as natural a connection as you can get, especially if they want to do a Marvel Knights film, but definitely with Sinister 6 going forward, if they're going to continue building to that, which it appears they are going to do. I don't think adding Morbius to it's a smart idea. I do not think adding Venom to it is a smart idea by any means. I think you need to keep organically building through the Spider-Man trilogy that they're making. Maybe do a Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man 5, a Spider-Man 6 with the Sinister 6, but I definitely wouldn't rush the process by forcing in Morbius or any other characters like that, just because I think all in all, Morbius as a film needs to do well on its own first, and not rely on the potential crossover elements or potential Sinister Six elements that we saw unfortunately cripple The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because as the saying goes, you can't really spin plates while also adding new ones on top. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on that topic. And yeah, but yeah, that's it. So I think I went through all the topics. If you're listening to this on YouTube or watching it on YouTube, you're going to check this out in segments. So if it seems kind of choppy, I apologize. My kittens a few times while I was recording decided to jump in. So I had to stop, focus on them, relocate them, make sure they're all right, then jump back on the recording. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the episode. Please give me feedback. I know the lighting and all that stuff will need improvement as time goes on. So I'm pretty aware of that. And give me any ideas what you think for the background. I was thinking about maybe doing movie posters, having all this be movie posters. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But just give me your comments down below, your thoughts. What do you guys think would be a great idea? And yeah, also, which topic did you guys like the most? Please leave viewer questions down below so I can do viewer questions in future episodes with hashtag HNEpod. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video segment, I guess, and or podcast if you're listening to it entirely on SoundCloud or Spotify. And I'll see you guys later.